black habits,
it's black medicine.
yeah,
Everything
black chucks, black tucks, everything.
Everything
Black
black.
hug, black love, everything.
Praise black Jesus.
Yeah.
Play black Moses. Give them flowers while they still give black roses.
I am
Everything black.
your host that you guys already know, Anthony, aka DJ Clean. Um, this is gonna be a really dope wealth talk. I have one of my dearest friends from college who's gracing us with her time. So, I definitely appreciate everyone who's logged in. As always, you're going to learn something very, very, very dope. Um, this person is a phenomenal person. She's a musician. She has a background in leadership and communities of color for women, and she's launched the application and company in Atlanta, well, that's taken Atlanta by storm, called Cheft. So we have the honor and pleasure. I would like to introduce my dearest friend, Desta. Desta, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? Can you see me?
No, I can't see. You have to turn on your camera.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Yes, I can see you. How are you doing?
I'm trying to position myself. I'm well.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make you a co-host here, and then we're going to kick off and everything. It's good seeing you.
Likewise.
All right, so we're going to kick off. Welcome to the Wealth Talk.
Thank
She
you.
actually you actually attended the last meeting we had, which was pretty cool. It was about with Roz and then Airbnb. We still have some people logging in, but I'll admit them as we go ahead, right?
Okay.
So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and just get it started. So, just tell everyone who you are and give them a brief background.
So my name is Desta. Thank you. I'm founder and CEO at Cheft, software solutions for food-based businesses throughout the U.S. at this point. And so what we do is we empower all kinds of private chefs, food trucks, restaurants, chains, pop-ups, to really take control of their business and launch an ordering site or marketing campaign in under 20 minutes.
That's crazy. That sounds like a lot.
I tried to,
Yeah. No, that's awesome that you created. So, can you tell everyone what brought inspiration for this idea and this application and this technology? What brought this inspiration?
Okay, so Chef Handed has been in the making for several years. At one point, I wanted to develop an application that allowed me to scale nationwide at a really rapid rate. But I wanted it to be data driven. And I'm all about autonomy, all about independence. And you hear all these buzzwords, financial freedom, breaking generational curses, all those kind of things. So I knew I needed to have some software that could support really rapid growth, but then also give me the data that I needed to make the best choices. And so I want to say I was project managing in 2017 for a tech dev shop here in Atlanta. It's called Neurocode, crazy team. And I saw lots of people in the office. They were developing all kinds of things. And I just thought I wanted to build a platform that did what I wanted to do for myself, what I, did in my former career as an educator, which was empower. And so food, everybody eats every day. Most people eat several times a day. And I just looked into, the industry, what issues people were having. As you know, food is a tough industry. A lot of businesses close within 3 to 5 years. And so anyway, trying to make it concise, just decided to build software that solved all of the issues that I thought we would have, because I didn't see anything out there that was really giving you access to your data in a palatable way. So I want to say that was around 2018, 2019. I started trying the foundation of Cheft Handed with a concept through various food concepts in various locations. And it worked so well that we decided to open up the software and make it available to the public, you know?
Yeah.
This is solving problems for me, then it's gonna help somebody else. If I'm gonna grow and become independent, then why wouldn't I share this with someone else, you know? So we just opened it up to the public because Rona came through and knocked everything over. So that was at the top of 2020. We're still very much working out lots of bugs, testing different things, but it was just like, look, we can launch this now, and we can grow with our audience to provide them this solution because they need it. Like Corona, it was the best time to launch something like this because it was really needed. So I hope that answers.
No, definitely. I have a question for you. Do you have a technology background at all?
No.
Okay, so you launched this app without no experience basically in technology.
Let me tell you, yeah, that's absolutely the truth. My former career, I was a music educator. And when I learned about Neurocode, I was just so inspired by their mission to build so many businesses. And I saw other people who had no experience technology went to a very knowledgeable group, of us.
Yeah.
And they just did phenomenal work. So no, I didn't have any technology background. In fact, before getting into this product, the only thing I had done was I wrote a jingle. So as you know, like I said, previous career being music education, written music for some years that had been performed by thousands of children, but I didn't think that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
So they trusted me to write some music for a jingle, an app that they were developing, a children's app.
Okay.
And it had millions of downloads.
Wow.
And it kind of gave me, a little motivation, like, oh, okay, I don't necessarily have to have a background in technology. I just have to have a capable technology team to even be involved in technology, right?
Got it.
And so, yeah, that's it. That's all I had.
Awesome. So no experience in technology, you just had an idea and a drive. So what was the process of finding this team? Did you reach out to them, or how did this get put in place for you?
So again, because I was project managing for them, I was really just asking questions a lot, observing other people shoot their shots. And I became really interested in this idea of a platform. Like I said, it helps several people, right?
Yeah.
And it just made sense. I was already there.
Got it.
And if you wanted to do tech in Atlanta and you didn't go through Neurocode,
yeah,
and
okay.
I'm saying that because they're here. They do work with folks actually globally. But it just made sense. I was there. I got to meet them, work with them. It just seemed like the best place to collaborate.
Got it. So you kind of said, hey, I have this idea. This is it. How did that like transpire? How did that happen, since you were like project managing and whatnot?
So I learned kind of what they call it, trial by fire.
Okay.
Certain things that were needed to establish a platform, the things that you would want to consider, your customer base, who's going to do your technology, just all of those different things.
Got it.
And I brought it to them, and they said, sure, let's do it.
Wow. Okay. So basically you did a lot of research on your own. You put together a presentation, or what did you put together?
I actually did not put together a presentation that was, I didn't put together a presentation. I had a proposal of sorts, right?
Okay.
Just like you're going to get anything, essentially. These are my needs. How do we get this done, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I don't have the technology background. You want someone who's knowledgeable to think about your architecture and think about what it is that you need, so that they can build it out for you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even know all the questions to ask.
Okay.
Right? So I kind of just submit to their expertise and said, this is what I want to accomplish. How can you help me get there?
Got it. Got it. So you kind of just said, all right, here's a proposal, there's an idea. Can you guys help me? How did this work with like NDAs and whatnot? Did you have an agreement, a contract, or you just kind of just Hail Married and was like, hey, I got this idea?
We're going forward. No
Uh,
NDA,
all
no
right.
NDA. Because the truth is, there's nothing new under the sun. And anything that I can think of, somebody else has probably already thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between me and them winning is execution. So
Got it.
I didn't even care to sign an NDA. And
Got it.
honestly, most real tech folk they don't really, unless it's like top secret,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
crypto, Department of Defense, something like that, then obviously you want to protect those things. But
for sure.
a platform, food-based platform, there really wasn't much need for that.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Quick recap. You had this idea. Well, you're already kind of doing work for this company. You have this
Yeah.
idea, and you're like, "Hey, I got this idea. Here's a proposal." And they're like, "All right, let's do it."
Mhm.
All right. So, what was it like getting your first client?
That's a funny story. Um, I was not ready to take the first client, or so I thought. My nerves were getting the best of me. It's not
Mm,
time yet. You got some things to work through. And one of my partners was like, what do you mean we have things to work through? It's
yeah.
technology. We will always be growing and learning and developing, but the
Hmm.
product works and we're
Hmm.
ready, right? So he set it up really nicely. And it's just having a dope team is just so important. But anyway, team member says, look, I want you to go talk to this foodpreneur and
Okay.
see how it goes. I'm literally in line at this pop-up, you know, and
Okay.
I just talked to this sister like, hey, what are your needs? Oh, I
Mm,
got that. I can address that in less than 20 minutes. Her
okay.
mind was blown. Her
Okay.
mind was blown, and she had been through so many different software suites,
Mm,
hired all these people to do everything that is automated on the platform as it is.
mm.
So it was easy. I was so excited. I forgot where I was, forgot that I had all, here's my card, here's the the number you can call. I forgot
Okay.
about all of that. Gave the system my personal phone number. Like it was it was crazy. It was way
Okay.
easier than I thought it would be. But that was essentially how I got my first customer.
All right. So you did all this while in line. You were just pitching
I was
her the
in
idea.
line ordering, getting ready to order food.
Okay. And you just
And
start pitching her right
I
there.
just right there.
Okay.
What was the
Okay.
worst thing that could happen? I was gonna get a good plate of food that I was gonna pay for anyway. So,
True. True. This is true. True.
um, yeah.
Nice.
So that was the first one.
Wow. Okay. So one major thing that I realized that you said was you identified her needs and you said,
Yeah.
"Hey, I have something that can fulfill your needs in this platform." And then you kind of just right then and there on the spot, you just executed and kind of essentially you did pitch to her like
Yeah, I did
right there on the spot,
on the
which is
spot.
pretty cool. Right. So I think and you didn't have cards or anything. You executed, which was the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing, which is why when you asked me in the previous question if I'd
Mhm.
signed an NDA or anything, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Does your stuff work? And can you solve somebody's problem? Right? And
Got
so
it.
I went to her and it worked. And I was solving several problems,
Mm,
So
mm. Okay. Okay. So this leads to my next question. Like, all right, you got this first client. How did you scale? How did you get your second and then your third and then your fourth client, et cetera, et cetera?
So that's a really good question. And that really just happened organically.
Got it.
It was really important after, like I said, project management, observing a lot of people go hype first
Mm,
and
mm,
product last. To me, I was like, I don't want to do that.
mm,
My nerves not set up for that. I need this thing to work.
mm.
I
Okay.
need
Okay.
I need to be bringing some quality and really solve a problem before I
Okay.
even do anything. And
Mm,
so that was the process. Let
mm,
me solve this problem and then I'll find you. And I think, you know, having such a short period from setup to launch, it just really helped us grow organically. People were sharing this thing that it's not like friends and family, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Total strangers all over the country and
Interesting.
places I had never even been to.
Interesting. Because I have members of the group that are logged on, right? And I know as a entrepreneur, as a creative, is always a thin line between like perfectionism and execution.
Yeah.
And in this line, I'm trying to figure out, like, when did you say, all right, this product is good enough? Was there a feeling that you had, or you're just like, you know what, I just need to get this out and just do it now? Because you're saying that you wanted to make sure that it was operational, that it was right before you released it to the public, and you wanted to have a well operational train before you just like hype the train up. It's like, oh, there's this new technology, and then it's not working.
Mhm.
So what was that line when you decided that, all right, this is something, it's ready to go?
Good question. I hope I can answer that for you.
Yeah, for sure.
What I will say is first have to start with the problem, right?
Mm,
Um, this platform is is here to solve problems. And so I have to first address that. And so does it do what I set out to do?
mhm.
One, can we facilitate contactless ordering and pickup and delivery in 4,000 cities? Yes, we can do that. Two, can we handle your marketing and give you your data in a palatable way? Yes, we can do that. Now, is there room for growth? Absolutely. Are there more features that we have added since then?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
Mhm.
am I solving the problem? So that was really the line. Like, do you solve the problem? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, well, then you can go because everybody's, you know,
Mhm.
launching new features as time goes on. That's just
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
I want to say, and it was hard for me to learn that because I wanted everything to be perfect initially. But again,
Mm.
I submit to, not, submit sounds like a strong word, but
Nah, surrendered.
when you're collaborating with
Yeah, yeah.
a good team, you have to trust that they know when it's okay,
Got it.
or you know, that kind of thing. And so we just really trust each other to say, hey, we do what we said we came here to do. Let's add, you know, as we grow. A lot of people don't know this, but several big companies remain in beta testing for a long time. I want to say Google was in beta for like 5 years,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so why would I put pressure on myself when I'm solving the problem? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, we got to that point and just move forward.
So you kind of, your team kind of got at you a bit.
Definitely.
They said, hey, no, we think, hey, we're able to solve these problems now. We're ready to go.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Um, my next question for you is, what is the cost of something like this? Like, just even launch the team, like, what are the expenses looking like?
Oh, my friend, my friend. It's an expensive venture.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really hard to give a ballpark
Okay.
because my cost has just been ongoing.
Mm,
Because I've
mhm.
been growing with the demands of the market, growing with the needs of their customers, right? Because
Got it.
this is a business servicing other businesses, right?
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
businesses serve the customers. So I kind of have to make sure that I'm handling both. And so that makes the cost, I don't even know where to start with that, to be quite
Yeah.
honest. And it's been so many years, I really don't even know where to start with that, how much it costs.
Got it. Got it.
So
Ballpark. Just throw out a number that you think.
ballpark
Yeah.
to build the
Just
whole platform.
just in general, what you think you spent. I give you an example. Like for my album, right? Like it's been 4 or 5 years on my first project.
Mhm.
I've spent probably over 5, 6 grand, right? So, but it's over 5 years. So if you look at that, almost 1,000 a year. So, what do you think?
Tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay. Tens of thousands. All right. So while you're doing this, are you working a job? Are you just going all in? What's going on? Are you kind of like balancing, doing a balancing act?
Currently, mostly chef handed, I would say like 95% here.
Okay.
But before I was still project managing,
Okay. So you're
like
still project managing.
mainly project managing before. And that's why it was, taking so long to really launch, because something like this, you could launch if you know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
You could launch in like weeks.
Mm, you can launch in weeks. What's interesting is, let's say if you have another idea, right? Do
Yes.
you think you can execute it quicker and more affordable due to your experience and growth over the past 5 years of working at Chef Handed and
Yeah,
Clean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I know
Mm,
more what I should ask. I
hmm.
also understand building technology is like building a house, right?
Yeah.
So you don't put a foundation down for a 1,200 square foot ranch house.
Yeah.
And then later on down the line, I think this is how construction works. And then later on down the line, decide that you want to put a 21 story building up, right?
Yeah.
Got to be thinking about what your big picture is when you do that initial architecture. And so when you ask me that question, would I be able to launch quicker and even spend less? Yes.
Got it.
You know better what to ask. And I'm less tentative about taking risks.
Less
So
tentative. So your risk tolerance has actually grown.
yes.
Nice. Nice. And what do you think helped with your risk tolerance growth? Because that's, to me, one of the biggest problems is for creatives is execution. It's just taking the first step, really, because it seems like the first step is like looking at a mountain and you're
Mhm,
saying, all right, we're about to hike this mountain. You're like,
mhm.
yeah, well, you take the first step, but you're like looking at this mountain, right? But for you, it sounded like it was just kind of like you were hiking a mountain blindfolded, so you couldn't really see the mountain. You were just walking almost.
Well, what I will say is um, they do a really good job of building out your architecture, which gives you like a baseline. But there are so many things that happen um, that I couldn't anticipate,
Mm,
so many
okay,
roles I've had to play that I couldn't anticipate in the
got it,
beginning. And
got it.
so if I could compare this to writing music, which is something that you and I have in common,
Yeah.
when you go into a session, and I know it's a little different because I'm typically writing without the technology. I'm literally writing out notes and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And you're going straight to the technology. But anyway, you want to produce this song. You know
Hmm.
that these are the components that are needed. And so when you get creative, sometimes you can overwrite and
Mm,
overwrite and overwrite and try to
yeah.
perfect. And then it just delays the launch, sometimes
Yeah.
unnecessarily, right?
Yeah.
With technology, you can be quite creative, but it's not about you and how you feel about the song per se. It's
Mm,
really about how does this operate?
mm, hmm.
How does the customer respond?
Hmm.
And I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
I can test it to make sure it works,
Yeah.
but I can't really tell you um exactly what's going to resonate with them all the time. And
Yeah.
so the best thing to do is build something that works, solves a problem, and then let them give you the feedback. And we get tons of feedback. We even have a beta program just for that tests all of our hardware and
Yeah.
all of our software before it's deployed, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know,
So this leads to my next question, right? So what has been the most challenging part about developing the business?
um hmm, I would say um I would say not understanding the lack of business acumen that many of us have that call
Mm,
ourselves entrepreneurs and foodpreneurs.
mm,
There's a difference between a bomb chef
yeah.
and a beast business person.
Mm,
And sometimes you get lucky and they, exist in one person. And sometimes they're probably just a really good chef.
mm,
And so it's been extremely challenging to help great chefs
yeah.
also become good business people.
Hmm.
However, grateful for technology, you can automate a lot of things that will relieve the stress and the guesswork so that a chef can accelerate their path to
Yeah.
successful business operations. For
Mm,
example, I've helped several people go from pop-up chef to food truck to restaurant in
wow.
a span of like 9 to 12 months.
That's a very fast
That's
turnover.
insane.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Insane.
So you're essentially helping them. So what do you, with your data, not to dig into your data, but do you like track all this? Like
Yeah.
that means they're getting crazy returns. They're
Yes.
turning profits very quickly.
Yes. So the great thing about Chef Handed, not only, I mean, a lot of people like it because you don't have to have a tech background to launch a website. We
Yeah.
auto make that for you. And you don't have to have a tech background to launch any of your marketing campaigns, right?
Wow.
But what they really love, and this is why it was so important when Rona came and knocked everything over, is because it's commission free.
Mm,
So if you go on a larger platform, not only are you competing, but they're taking 30% of every sale.
yep.
Chef
Yep.
Handy is giving you 100% of every sale.
Ooh, so I have a lot of questions, right? So
So, okay.
how do you, all right, if there's no commission you're taking, how does this work? Is there upfront payment or upfront
So
cost or
what we have done, just understanding the industry, the rise in cost of food and materials,
yeah,
wages being increased, losing staff members as well to illness, coronavirus, all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
We've waived all of our sign up fees. So it's essentially no risk. You sign up, you launch in 15, 20 minutes, and you
yeah,
get 100% from every sale.
got it. 100%. So how does this work on your end? Like, is
On
it is
my
it
end,
yeah,
so good question. The customer pays a fee, a small fee, which they would have
copy,
on any platform anywhere else.
copy.
And most times it's significantly less than they would on any other platform.
Got it. So you're saying, hey, all right, we're essentially we're going to look out for the business.
Yes,
On the back end, we'll just charge a service fee anyway on the customers that they're used. People are already
they're already paying.
trained to pay on the
Exactly.
back end, whether they notice or not.
Yes.
And you're growing so fast that these service fees can kind of like balance out the expenses or
Yes.
get to that. You're getting to that point.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Um, my question to you is, have you gotten any pushback from like businesses at all?
In what capacity? Yes. I don't
Yeah,
care how
like,
good your product is, you're getting pushback. So,
yeah,
where
like they're
specifically?
like, I don't know, this sounds like, especially like, I think with our community, there's due to past experiences, there's sometimes is reluctance in certain things, no matter if it seems like it's working or not, and that just could be out of scarce thinking, it could be out of lack of resources and different things like that. But have you received a lot of pushback from I guess chefs or just restaurants or owners that look like us or just in general overall for the idea?
Sure. So, yes, we can jump right into us. I think that's where you're trying to go. um, I think that we have to understand that when we are trying to help us, most of us are not early adopters.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I don't get offended by that because it's not specific to me.
Yeah.
Um, we like to follow and run down hype a lot of times.
Mm,
And so the The reluctance is usually because Cheft Handed is not a fit for their business, not because it
Got it.
seems sketchy,
Got
but
it. Got it.
you have some needs that are not in our scope and not something that we're interested in doing. So we're okay. It's probably best that you go somewhere else anyway, because we don't want to get in the way of your success. And we're not changing for one business because we're helping so many others. We do get a lot of, hey, can you make this do this? Hey, can you make this do that? Meaning,
Yeah.
this technology is really dope. I didn't know that you integrated with Instagram, or I didn't know that you integrated with whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you make it do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And, and because a lot of them have close relationships with customer service, or, any of our support team, I will say a lot of us ask for like custom software. So we do get a lot of that, but I wouldn't say
Got it.
pushback in terms of reluctance per se.
Got it. So custom software, how do you guys handle that pushback? Like with asking for custom software, is this one of those things where you have a type of focus group that you guys do, and then you go back and say, all right, we're going to go ahead and add this in? Or do you have your customers or clients do a survey, and then from there you kind of adjust in the future? How does that work for you?
It's a good question. So our beta group, our beta testers, they test the software and the hardware. And we've got everyone in there from ghost kitchens, food trucks, and chain restaurants as well.
Wow.
And so the reason why it's so good to have that diversity in that group is because we're getting pushback from somebody who's brand new in a ghost kitchen, or somebody who's been on Hell's Kitchen, or somebody who's been on, America's Top Baker, or whatever.
Wow.
We want the whole mix because they've got these two things in common. One, a level of culinary excellence, and two, they're trying to scale this business, or they've got, great business acumen, or not. So from them, when they say, hey, we need this, we look at all the data points and we say, hey, is this really something they want, or is this something that can be a solution that is broadly applied, platform wide? And so that's what we take into consideration, whether it is hardware or software. For example, if a food truck in the beta program says, we need a timer for, I don't know, for our delivery service, because we do facilitate delivery for them as well, then we take a step back, because sometimes people don't really know how to communicate what their problems are, or the solution. So then we have to take a step back and say, okay, we've heard you. How do we solve this problem for you? And then we can implement on the fly, because I got a bomb team who can build anything. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So we're really able to do that. And we have taken some leaps and done some custom software for some larger organizations. We'll do that.
Okay. So one of the biggest things I'm hearing is having just strong people around you, right? Having a strong team, and you've been fortunate to come in to a strong team, right? Off top. So what advice would you give someone who doesn't have a strong team? They're just not, they didn't, start off with production management. It wasn't positioned that way. It sounds like you just kind of walked in, into a great situation. But for someone who's like, I have this big idea for an app, or for whatever in technology, it could be real estate, it could be crypto, it could be whatever. What, I guess, would be some advice you could give to them for someone who's like, I don't know where to begin?
So you got to look parallel first, right?
Okay.
You never know who is involved in what right there next to you, right? So look to your side, and see if there is anyone there who knows of someone. And two, do your research. Do not jump into scarcity mindset and go get a developer in a foreign country where you don't speak the language and then they can just disappear on you. Part of my situation is, or my learning in project management is I saw people throw away so much money because they went to this person who was cheaper and that didn't
Yeah.
work out. And then they went to this person who was cheaper and it didn't work out.
Mm.
And so by the time some of the clients that I had taken on, through Neurocode, they had been through like 4 dev teams and
So,
still didn't have a product. And so the best thing I would
wow.
say is research, research, research. And 2, if you really have any kind of technology idea, you want to get an MVP. You want to make sure that you can get an MVP at the end of whatever your term is with them. You also want to make sure that they're going to turn over whatever the code is so that if you decide to move on to another developer, you can move forward with your next team.
All right, I'm gonna
I would
backtrack.
say those 3 things. 1, research. 2,
Research.
try to get an MVP of some sort. And 3, make sure that you will also own that code or have access to it.
Okay, own the code. And can you explain what an MVP is?
It's just your minimum viable product, right? So it's something
Got it.
that if you were to present to someone else, you'd be able to say, hey, this is the product, this is how it works, these are the features that currently work, and this is where we would like to grow. So it's just your minimum viable product. That's really what it is broken down to.
Okay, cool. What you saying that reminds me of this show on Netflix called Startup. It's a very interesting show.
I've
Have
seen it.
you seen it? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like, what was I forgot? Lizzie, I think that was her name. She
Uh-huh.
created the code, but she didn't own it. So when the guy came in who had the bigger bag, he like just snatched up her code and just like pushed her out, right? And you're
Right.
saying make sure you own your intellectual property, own your code from the beginning.
I'm saying that make sure that you have access to it. Now you can
Access
get
to it.
you can get bought out and then
Okay.
it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But if somebody gives you an MVP and you don't have access to it, then the next person that continues is likely to have to start from scratch.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So you make sure you keep your tools in your toolbox. You good.
So,
All right, cool. So if you're just joining us, Chef, this is Desta, CEO, creator of Chef Handed. And you have how many clients now? Yes, you would say?
I would say upwards of 500.
500.
Yes.
500 plus and growing.
Something like that.
500 plus and growing. No,
Yes.
this is without promotions, without a press run.
No press. No press.
When are you going to do a press run?
That's a good question.
I mean, if you're doing this now, which is good, right? Because it's like by the time you get to the point, it's going to be like a silent, I don't know, like a silent just beast monster. It's just going to creep up on everyone.
We're okay with that. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important, like I said, to have, man, it's just important to have that strong team so that when it's time to do that, you can. And I will say that because so many of us have launched products that don't work or is just hype, it's super important for us to vet everything and make sure everything is super thorough, because I don't want to be another one of us who lets us down because, so that's why we're slow rolling into it,
Slow roll, slow walk. But I think the most important thing is you're like, I want to make sure it actually works, but within reason. You're not also like, I want to make sure it works, but it's taking me 10 years. You're like, nah,
No.
I'm actually going forth and working and figuring it out while you're moving forward. Like you're making sure it works. Yeah. Like when I first learning how to DJ, I didn't just say, let me practice for 5 years. And no, I was going around school, my high school saying, oh, I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ. And then someone was like, yeah, can you do my party? And I was like, oh, I guess I need to actually learn how to DJ. And my first party, I knew music though. And then I just learned as I went along. So I guess what will be your overall end goal for Chef Handed for your business?
Wow. Everybody says they want a 10x, right? I don't know how I 10x because we're already in 4,000 cities across the nation, all 50 states. I would like to see, I I would just like to see us seriously empower and elevate specifically, well, not specifically, but definitely us Black
Yeah,
businesses.
for sure.
And gosh,
Yeah.
my overall goal has changed so much. That's why in this moment
Mm,
you're asking me.
got it.
And it's something that I update like weekly,
Mm-hmm.
because I never want to let down the team. And
Yeah,
I always want us to remain hungry for more. So I
got it.
would say, the last time I checked, it was 10x outreach. Um, and
Hmm.
and I know it'll change next week. And I'm
So,
okay with that. I'm okay with that.
so you're constantly moving the goalposts.
Constantly
Okay.
forward,
Forward.
not like in this, double dutch, jump in,
Yeah.
jump out kind of way. Just forward, forward, forward. Because you know, you think you have a goal and then you meet it. And then what are you supposed to do next? You just got
Yeah.
to keep moving forward. So, you know, nearly 1,000 clients, thousands of customers,
Yeah.
in 4,000 cities. I just want to see more growth. Super excited to see more growth.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So you're moving, you're all right. So are these goals, is it like, all right, when people say I want a 10x, right? To me, that's a general statement. That's not necessarily being very specific in how you're going to 10x, right? So you have these goals and your team is like, this is how we're going to do it, or do you come up with that? Like, all right, this is how we're going to execute these things.
It's a collaborative approach all the way through.
Got it.
Yes, I'm CEO, founder, whatever, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're nothing without your team,
Got it.
right? And so we come together and we strategize and we say, hey, what's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal? Look at the
Yeah.
data. What do you think we can be done? And how do you think we can best get there, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a collaborative approach.
Definitely a collaborative approach. So you just, all right, I have this in mind. So one of the huge takeaways I'm hearing is have a goal. Also, a takeaway I always stress to the group here in the Wealth Plays group is do your own research, whether it's stocks, crypto, real estate. You have to put in the work.
Hmm.
That's period point blank. You got to put in time and put in work to just learn and become a better whatever it is you're trying to become a better at.
Hmm.
Right. So team putting in work, and then definitely I'm hearing a lot of action. Like
Yeah,
you all action in these
all
streets.
action.
You are with the smoke.
I'm with it. I want all of it. Before I walked up to that first client that you asked me about,
Yeah.
we were testing the software for like a year and a half, probably 2 years,
Yeah.
ourselves. So I knew it didn't matter what your concept was, Chef Handed was going to help you grow. So
Okay.
yes,
Mm,
all action before we released it into the wild, and still.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Got it. So you kind of all right. I have a few more questions. Then we're gonna do a Q&A with everyone here if they want to ask anything. It could be
Okay.
just it could be anything from if they guys want to ask how question about your company. My question is, how do you deal with fear, right? How do you deal with self-doubt? How do you deal with fear? How do you deal with um, pre-developed obstacles that society has psychologically implemented, saying it's hard to do this, right? How do you deal with these things?
Um, Meditate, look
Meditate.
in the mirror, really dig deep into my passion, who I am, where I come from, the fact that I want to be um, an asset to my community.
Got
I
it.
want to be an asset to my family. I want to be an example of what Black female tech looks like.
Mm.
I have to remind myself. I do suffer from imposter syndrome sometimes.
Are you really an imposter though? Because I mean, saying we grow to how many cities? You said 5,000?
4,000.
4,000? Okay, 4,000. 4,000 cities, over 500 clients. Are you being an imposter?
No, no.
I don't think you're being an imposter at all. It's like,
As your knowledge grows, right,
yeah,
you realize that there's so much more that you don't know, right?
for
And
sure.
so I guess like I stay humble in that, like I'm still learning
Got it.
things that I didn't know, the day before or whatever. So it's not that I think I'm an imposter, it's just that I feel like the more I learn, the more I want to do. And I just keep pushing that goalpost out. So in the beginning, it was launch by this date.
Yeah.
And then it was, you need to get your hardware from China. Then it was,
Got it.
you need to, okay, you need to switch this kind of marketing campaign. And so it's just like, you meet a need or you see a problem and it's like, oh my gosh, how do I hone in on this thing, and solve it? So it's a journey, but again, staying grounded in what it is that I want to contribute to my family, to my community. And that's really what I have to do every day.
Grounded.
You get challenges every day.
Every day. What was something I said? It was a quote I heard. I think it was like a movie or something like that. It was like, it says when a giant looks in the mirror, it doesn't see a giant, right? But only other people can see a giant.
Yes.
So my question for you, my next question is more or less, I'm talking to both your present and your future self. I'm gonna ask you, how's it feel to be a multimillionaire?
I can't wait till I hit the bees.
All right. You can't wait to, woo, that's fire. You like, yo, I'm already focused on the next thing. Damn, Desta.
I'm grateful, always grateful in the moment. But the more you know, and the more you can do, and the more you can facilitate for others, the more I want to get.
Yeah, you're definitely focused on the product. And I think that's like Kobe shooting in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like too busy shooting in the gym to really kind of look around. He's your head down, you're focused. All right, so I'm going to ask this question and we'll open up to some Q&A. What would you tell your younger self?
Hold on to your passion. And when I say that, be super thorough, right? So study, not passion in terms of this is what I like to do, or this is what feels good, but really study your passion in a systemic way. Like, go to first principles, understand every single aspect, study. I think, and I have to say it that way, because when most people speak about passion, they think about, or they speak about what feels good or what other people celebrate. Yeah. And sometimes people may not celebrate what you're passionate about. So I would say follow your passion. I know that you want to help people continue, on that path. And don't be afraid to go into the hard sciences. It's the foundation of so many things. I'm grateful for my background in music and education. I think I've been able to help several people, through that lane. Yeah. But I also know that, the more that you dig deeper into what your field is, the more of an asset you can be to so many other people, draw parallels in so many other ways. So that's what I would say. Hold on to your passion, which I think I did a pretty good job of doing that.
For sure.
And just study, just remain a student.
Remain a student. That's pretty big. And I see a lot of parallels with there's a book I always recommend to the group, the Airbnb story. I mean, they were creatives. They were not business people. They were literally graphic designers. They had an idea and then they just learned as they went. So that's a beautiful thing, Desta. Thank you so much for what you say. I got to get you back on here because there's a lot of technicalities we didn't go into. This is more of a general talk, but I do eventually want to start doing sessions where it's just like, no, this is how you do X, Y, and Z. It's very like technical. All right, so I'm gonna open it up to Q&A. You guys can ask any questions that you may have. If not, then I'll ask Desta some more questions. Anybody want to ask a question?
Or do you? How do I?
Oh, they'll mute. Manny.
Hey, how's it going? Desta, thanks so much for sharing, what it is that you do. Amazing story. So yeah, I just first off want to say thank you. That was a lot of information, but it's great it's great to hear that it did have you're getting results and you're growing. So my question is, when it comes to where to start, right? did you start with a business plan or what you want the end product to be? Like, did you focus on building out what that end product is and how does it service stakeholders and customers? Is that where you started before you started saying, okay, let me go get a developer, let me go blah, 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 blah?
So thank you for the compliment initially. Thank you so much. Just pleased to share whatever I can with anyone. Like I said, I was really fortunate to see a lot of other people fail before they came over to Neurocode. And so I learned a lot from them, from their failures, and then later on successes, where to start. One of my first mentors put me on to this resource called Canvanizer, um, which really is a condensed business plan. It's on a business canvas. Before that, I was using this software called Live Plan, and it was really helpful, but I realized that it was not helpful in getting me to bring a product to the tech team. Canvanizer really helped me identify, what stakeholders and what customers and what the approach was. And so I really was able to, I guess, just make it more concise and say, hey, this is what I want to do. And then approach the tech team and they, write up a proposal, write up a scope, and then just let you know, hey, if this is what you want to do, this is how we move forward. It was really more like that. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks for the tool. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah.
It's a free tool. It's a free tool, Canvanizer, Canvanizer. And it's something that I recommend to a lot of people. It's way less challenging than a long, arduous business plan. Not that you don't need to get to that point, but it really just helps you organize your thoughts and think about what it is that you want to achieve before you get, into developing, because development can be expensive.
Alicia, do you have a question? And thank you, Manny. I don't know if she has one. Alicia, if you're trying to talk, it might be audio issues. Anyone else has any questions? We have a few people in technology in here, a lot of audio visual technology people.
Okay.
On the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. So I'll end up
Got
asking
another one.
Okay. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, Anthony, thanks again for putting this together. I didn't get a chance to say that today. Thanks again, brother, for getting us a speaker and bring us all together to learn something about wealth. My next question, you mentioned 4,000 cities. Are you in the DC area?
Yes.
And how are you looking for additional support when it comes for, let's say, food delivery to the restaurants for like ingredients and things of that nature? Do you look for that, or the app kind of just puts people in contact with each other?
You mean like dispatch, like drivers?
More dispatchers for the restaurant. So to go purchase the ingredients and return it to the restaurant so that they can then make meals.
I see. I think we would put that more in like procurement buckets. Like, I see what you're saying. So like a shopper for the restaurants.
Right. And the reason why I ask, I have a close friend that also jumped out there and is doing his own thing, and that's what he's doing at the time, but very ground level, word of mouth and all of that. And I'm trying to connect you guys, honestly. I was trying to get him on this call, but he's too busy. But is that like, how would someone like that take advantage of the application to then relay his services to your network in the area?
Sure. Does he have a website?
Don't believe so. No.
Okay. So he's real grassroots right now.
Right. Yep.
That's okay. Each one teach one. We'll help each other out. I am very happy to take that contact and see how we can collaborate. That's it. It's really that simple. You can email me, share my email, Desta at chefthanded.com, Desta at chefthanded.com. And if he has a service as such, we can look and see what the need is or see how else he can get plugged into the system. If it's possible, we moving forward. I'm about that action. If it's not, maybe it's something we can revisit at another time. Is that helpful to you?
Sorry, my mic was muted. Yes,
Oh,
no, thank you.
no
Thank you. I will
problem.
share that with them. I'll share the recording with them too. Um, that's great. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. I would say definitely make sure he's ready. Because this train is, I don't even know. He like a bullet train over here. That's the
Gotcha.
uh are there any other questions, everyone?
Chef handed or just technology related, I'm open.
Or I'll ask you a question, right? So um we have a lot of women who are entrepreneurs in this group. And oh, by the way, guys, share these links. I know people kind of be like, oh, another business group. I'm not trying to join, but feel free to share it to other people because I prefer to have people who are interested here and keep it small and tight and who could work with each other. I guess what advice would you give them to scale their businesses? It just in general business advice, right? From what you've been able to do. And you've been at this for years. So if it's someone who's very apprehensive about scaling their business or something holding them back, or they're scared to say this figure to I know a lot of um like my homegirls who they're trying to grow a business and they are petrified to say this is what I want. This is it, right? So what advice could you give to them?
To launch?
Just in general, overall business advice to just grow,
To
to just
launch.
launch,
Launch. Just go.
Let's go. Okay.
Just go. The reason I say that is you're going to be embarrassed by the first thing that you launch, regardless. Get it out of the way.
Hmm.
Lick your wounds and learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn so that you can move forward. It's not going to be perfect. I don't care how many T's you cross and I's you dot, even with a strong team. You are likely to have, even if your audience doesn't know that you made a mistake, because that can happen several times too. Like, whoo, they didn't catch that, but this was supposed to do that. Sometimes, just do it.
Yeah.
Are you solving a problem or meeting a need? Because everybody doesn't want to solve a problem. Some people want to, whatever it is that they want to do. If it's viable, I say just launch, right?
Just launch. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. You can, most things you can recover from. And again, make sure that it works. Whatever it is that you say it's supposed to do, make sure that you can stand by it, and if you can stand by it, then just launch.
Just launch.
And I would say make sure that you have a strong group of people around you. Make sure that not only is your team who's working directly with you solid, or maybe you're a single person team. Make sure you're solid.
For sure. For sure.
And then, just go out there. Because as I said earlier, most of our ideas are not original. You're going to have competition, which means you need to study the mistakes that they made or launch so that you can make your own mistakes and just move forward, right?
Just move forward.
Just move forward. That's what I say. Just move forward. And also give yourself some grace. Be grateful in the moment, but know that it's going to be okay. This is something that you said you wanted to do, so do it. And if it doesn't work, you can pivot. You can pivot and pivot again. Enjoy and take some joy in reinventing yourself if necessary, right? Give yourself some growth. Give yourself the flexibility to grow. Just grace. So.
Just grace. Thank you. Just do it.
Gratitude. Do it.
Just do it. I hear that teacher coming out. All right, everyone. Hold on. We have one other person reconnecting. So in general, couple takeaways. I like to do some takeaways in general for everyone to just learn from. And what's very interesting is no matter who I brought on, the takeaways seem to always kind of be the same.
Mhm,
Execute, do your due diligence, research, study,
mhm.
right?
I got a question. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Manny.
Were you wrapping up? I don't want to.
No, go
I
ahead.
want to.
No, we still in
Okay.
Q&A. Mhm.
All right. Cool. Cool. Um, I know you mainly were discussing the app, right? Developing the app. Were you at the same time developing a website to work in conjunction with your app, or the website was more of a landing page for your app, um, for people to get to the application, or do you have a web-based interface for your, clients to use and enter information, or on a daily basis or whatever? Um, yeah, my question is, did you have to do the website and the app at the same time?
Good question. And absolutely. So Chef Handed is actually a suite of softwares, cloud-based software. So yes, we have a landing page, and we provide several different pieces of software, right? So there is an app to manage orders. There's an app to manage kitchen operations. There's a website that every business gets when they sign up, and it's auto-generated, so you don't have to know how to build. Then there's the administrative panels. So it's not one app, and customers don't even have access to the app. They interface with the web-based application, but it's a whole series of software that works together to make the system work. And yes, they had to be done at the same time. And yes, Neurocode facilitated the whole thing. I didn't have to go anywhere else for any of it.
That's
Miracle.
amazing. That's amazing. And then Neurocode, is that NURACODE?
Yes, Neurocode is NURACODE.com. And if you're interested in anything in technology, and like I said, they work around the globe in, yeah, just around the globe, anything that you could imagine in technology, whether it be chef handed, whether it be just an app for consumers, platforms, cybersecurity, whatever, drone technology. I've seen so much come through Neurocode. So I don't know, can I share that with you? I'll type it in the
Yeah,
box.
please, by all means.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
I gotta jump off, but thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. I look forward to the recording.
All right, thanks, Manny. Be safe. Um, yeah. No, thank you for the information, Desta. Thank you for the time. We're gonna call it early unless everyone has any other questions. And I think that might be it. But like I said, I always want to do key takeaways. Execution, right?
Mhm.
Having a great team,
Mhm.
right? And in this case, also learning as you go,
Mhm.
learning as you go. So that's thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming through and talking. I hope we can have you again for another session.
Of course, I got you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.